freedom is sexy. JustIncredible.tv.
Hey. What's up? Say hi. Brrr. No, you just want more food. I know you. How's it going, everyone? I am sitting here on the floor all cozy with the very, very warm Kimberly stove cranked. And I'm going to answer some of your questions. Now, I haven't got all the wall and everything done yet. I'm only getting about 1 day off per week from work where I can actually do things with the motorhome, as my other day off is relegated to, you know, routine stuff like laundry and shopping and all that. So I just don't have time to do much. And but this is all going to be done really nicely. It's going to be all tongue and groove. So the interior theme of this entire motorhome is going to be wood cabin. A wood cabin on wheels. So I'm going to really follow on with the theme. Now, one of the things when I was shopping for a motorhome is I was looking for a floor plan specifically in the back of my head to install the Kimberly, where it would be in the bedroom. And I looked at lots, and boy, did we get lucky with this, because I immediately thought in my head, well, if I take out one of the couches, I'll get the fireplace in, and when the bed is made up, you got all this room. It's awesome. And the Kimberly is a safe distance away from the bed and from the walls. Now, just so you know, it is kind of close to the back wall. It's only 18 centimeters, so that's 6 inches. That's all you need for clearance. I mean, this is super tight. And to the sides as well, so that's what it is up there. It's only 6 inches, 6 inches. Now, if you want to protect the walls and have like airflow behind it, maybe some stainless steel or aluminum, you can go very, very close, like almost right up to it. But this is fine, because I've got all the extra space, and in my head, I want the fireplace to be the center of attention. It is going to be the main piece of the living room that all eyes will be focused on. Not the TV, not lights, nothing else. The fireplace is the main centerpiece of this motorhome. So everything is going to be built around this. Okay? So we got real lucky here. I knew I wanted to build a wall up front with a partition. I knew I wanted to get the chimney out without having to cut any cabinets. The Kimberly uses just a 3-inch pellet stove pipe, which is very unique. Most wood stoves require the big 6-inch pipes, the residential types. This is one of the only wood stoves. In fact, there's only 2 wood stoves on the market that I know of that will use the 3-inch pellet stove pipe, even though this isn't technically a pellet stove. And that is the Kimberly and her bigger sister, the Katydid stove, also manufactured by the same company. I will be painting this chimney black as well to match the top piece there. But the stove itself, I will leave stainless steel, of course. Now, just to give you an idea of how close the clearances were and how lucky I got with this motorhome. So, I've got the proper 6 inches from wall to the pipe, and that's going to include, once I have the paneling over this wall, it's still going to be 6 inches. So that means I could go up to about there, right? There's a steel beam right there. You see this right here? Part of the cabinet, that's attached to a steel beam. And I knew those beams were up there, but we just didn't know where they all were. I knew there was one there. Well, maybe there's one over here. It would get in our way when we cut this hole. We couldn't go to here because the air conditioning duct inside is a metal square tube all the way along the roof. It goes all the way to the back. So it's a, you know, we wouldn't be able to cut through that very easily. It would have just messed a lot of things up. So I didn't want to have to cut through that. I didn't want to have to cut through the cabinet. And I didn't want to have to go up front in front of that beam, obviously, or over that beam. So we took out this speaker and fished an aluminum piece of trim in there to see if I hit anything. And it went all the way to boom, to this beam here. So it was free and clear in there. So perfect, bam. Like, we're talking ½ an inch on this side. And this side, we'd only be able to go about there. Now, the other thing I wanted to make sure is that this door still opened. Take a look at this. We could not go back any farther, not even a centimeter farther back. Okay? And look at this. Look at that. It's perfect. So couldn't ask for anything more than that. Now, let's get to some of your questions, okay? I've had a lot of questions coming in over the last couple of days on this. So let's start with Martha Cannery. She says, just curious about the cost. I shopped around, saw some rather extreme prices into luxury type pricing, like dry mouth and watering eyes expensive. And I've been looking for a wood burner for the trailer, having trouble finding a tiny sealed stove that draws air from outside. I'm just going to basically read the reply that I gave to her on my video. And it's very simple. This unit, new, plus the parts you have to buy separately, like the flue pipe and the flashing and the inside piece there, and you know, the cap on the roof, and building a hearth underneath it as well, it's probably going to run you around $4,500 or so. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, depending on your particular installation. There's a lot of wood stoves out there for $2,500 to $3,500, like high-end wood stoves, gasifier, dual combustion stoves like this. So they look a little cheaper on paper, but most of them require the big 6-inch pipes, so that really screws around with your RV installation ideas. They're not as efficient as this, so they won't burn as long on a piece of wood as this will, so you end up spending more in the long term on the wood. And the clearances, it's very rare that you're going to get a wood stove with 6-inch, aka 18 centimeter clearances without protected walls. So you get what you pay for. Yes, this was more expensive up front than a lot of other wood stoves, but in the long run, it'll pay for itself over and over. And yes, this takes oxygen from outside, as you'll see here when we drilled the hole through the floor for the pipe, and it brings up the air, it goes up the air induction hole underneath the stove, so all the air is fed from outside. So you're safe to use this. It's a sealed door, just like the propane fireplace I had before. So there's no hazard there, and it makes it burn awesomely just using the outside air. And when it's going like this, that's when I usually turn down the throttle to about half. You can see the flames slow down. And after it's been burning like that for a little while, I usually put in a big piece of wood. You can use Presto logs and things like that, but do not use store-bought compressed sawdust logs if they have wax in them. A lot of brands have wax, so you have to look for the non-wax ones, and they're much better for the stove. So you can see how the flames slowed down when I turn the damper down. Now if I turn it down even farther to about 10-15%, it really slows it down, and then the real fire is happening up top. Look at that. The secondary combustion chamber up there starts going crazy, and that's where all the heat comes from. So I'll show you now some temperatures. About halfway up the pipe, we're only at about, what's that, about 150, 160 degrees Celsius. So what looks like just over 300 degrees Fahrenheit. But on the stovetop, well, how about I move the thermometer down there? Now don't touch these thermometers with your hand. They're metal. I've got my heat-proof glove here, and I'll stick it down there right on the cooktop, and you can see how hot this thing gets. You can watch it go up. All right, so the needle's pretty much pinned. The temperature is about 450 degrees Celsius, so that's about 850 degrees Fahrenheit. And this can easily get, I mean, I can't tell if it's going any higher now because the needle only goes that high, but the stovetop gets to over 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. Very, very hot. This is fantastic surface for cooking on. Okay, well, I spoke too soon. Turns out this thing can go up higher. The needle actually flipped back around. That's how hot it's gotten. So way over 800, way over 900, and over 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. Ooh, the hot, I think it's gonna melt my camera if I hold it that close. Outside, it's about 4 degrees out. So it's not freezing outside, but it's chilly. You won't want to be running outside in a t-shirt for very long. But inside, in here right now, it is 31 degrees. It feels like it's summertime in August inside. So this is basically the same as having 10 of the Dickinson propane heaters that I had before. And that's no exaggeration, because that Dickinson heater was rated for something like 4,000 BTUs. This is rated for about 40,000 BTUs. So it is just an incredible heater. So I don't see any issues with using this even in very cold climates, which we don't really have here around Vancouver. I have to open the window because it's getting kind of hot in here. Oh, hey, look, my neighbor's house has lots of Christmas lights up. Nice. Anyways, I will open the window. Let a little cooler air in here. Yes, it really does get that warm. You actually open it up a bit, and it'll burn off the wood down below faster, and it kind of slows down the upper combustion. Okay, I'll put it at about half, just for now. Camper Van Kevin, when you drive the RV and you still have a fire inside, does outside wind force air in through the chimney, causing problems? Does the chimney make much wind noise? No, I haven't heard any wind noise. It's virtually smokeless outside once it's been running for at least 15 minutes, so you don't see any smoke, so nobody really knows. Now, if you just started it up and just got a fire going and then drove away, yeah, you'd have smoke puffing out your chimney. Actually, that's funny because there's a guy in Alaska living in a little Toyota Class C motorhome, and he's got one of these too, and he wrote this on his blog. You can check out Timmy's blog at, I think it's tinyhouseblog.com, and he talks a couple of times about how he would get funny looks sometimes driving down the road with smoke pouring out his chimney. And one time he had the fire department and a bunch of bystanders outside his RV when he was in shopping at a grocery store. And they even called out his license plate number at the store to tell him his vehicle was on fire. And he went out and told the fire department it's just a wood stove, and they all kind of laughed and just went their way. So, I mean, yeah, of course that can happen. Some people don't know what a chimney is, I guess. But other than that, I ain't worried about it. Are you kidding? The benefits definitely outweigh any possible misperceptions from people. Jazz Hagen says, how much wood does the Kimberly use daily? And where and how do you store that wood? Well, I just store it wherever I can. Right now it's just next to the stove. We're going to build proper fireboxes all the way around this hearth here so I can store lots of wood, at least a few weeks supply at a time. How much does it use? Well, that's very variable. You can't give a number on that, man. What kind of wood? How big is the wood? You know, there are reports of those Presto logs. Small pieces of that can go for hours and hours. But once you get the right, burn routine down and you use the right type of wood, yes, you can put wood in, get it stoked, get it going, go to sleep, wake up, and it's still warm. So you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night because you're cold, which is fantastic. This is definitely an all-night stove. RV Crazy says, and here I thought you weren't going to settle down with a chick. Kimberly has your heart and you can't hide it. Keep on rocking, man. You're right, man. Kimberly is my new bitch, and I absolutely love her. Oh, yeah. How can you not love that? RJR4949 says, you should put some LEDs on top of the chimney and see what that attracts. Attracts? Don't know what you mean by that. I don't think you want to put LEDs on a chimney that's hot. Anyways, James Wooldridge says, Justin, did your propane fireplace use a lot of propane, or was it fairly reasonable? I don't know why you're asking me that on a Q&A video about the Kimberly, but no, it didn't use a lot of propane. It's very efficient, but that's because it was a tiny little boat heater. It's nothing like this. It's not even comparable. Jules in a Motorhome UK says, I'm presuming the Kimberly is a backup addition to the propane system. If that's the case, it's perfect. No downside. When you want a real fire, you can enjoy one. And if things go tits up, you've got the perfect survival stove. Absolutely. You've got me thinking now, which seat should I rip out to make way for the wood burner? From my limited research, I think the chimney needs cleaning out semi-regularly. Otherwise, there's risk of sparks coming out from the top of the chimney. A lot of that depends on the types of wood you burn. Best wishes, great channel. Thank you, man. Actually, it's more the creosote you got to worry about. So yes, you should clean out your chimney on a regular basis. I would say at least monthly. Even if you burn really clean, proper wood, I'd say just be safe. Just clean it out. It's not hard. You can unbolt the back stove with 3 screws on the back there. It just pops off the fireplace, and you get one of those cleaning brushes and go up and down the pipe. It's only a 5-foot pipe, so easy to clean. Does a lot of Stew Tube says, does a lot of smoke come out when you open the door to reload? Looks like it happened in the video. Well, that depends. It's not really. Normally nothing comes out. A little bit, of course. It's a pretty big door, but nothing to worry about. Big Blue Glide says, does Kimberly do your laundry, or is she not that cool? Okay, that joke is really old. I don't want to deal with that anymore. But yes, it does dry my laundry. Obviously, it's a dryer. Jimmy Harper 50, do you know anywhere besides Vancouver ever? Do you know anywhere besides Vancouver ever? Do you mean go? If you're looking for a travel channel, this is not it. I've said this millions of times. I'm just a guy living in an RV, working a 9-to-5 job like any other bloke in the city, working a 9-to-5 job, and the whole point of my channel is to show that it can be done without paying rent or a mortgage out your ass. Okay, so there's pretty much all the basic points. Hey baby, Emmy, you gonna say hi? You tired now because I fed you? Yeah. Oh, what a sweetie. I see your whiskers a little bit singed there. You know why? It's because I got one of those scented candles and you had to go and sniff it. All my cats have always had to go and sniff candles because they're fascinated by the moving flame. You always only do that once though. And then you learn. They'll grow back. But you won't do that anymore. Good girl. But she has not tried to jump up there at all. I think she knows that it would not be a good idea to jump on top of the stove. You're a good girl. Good girl, Amy. Oh, it's her new seat. So I'll leave it at that for now, guys. I'm off to do other things, go to bed and go to work tomorrow and for the next week, basically. So I'll see you when I do the next video.